Well, hello, and welcome back to the podcast that drinks and knows things. I am Luke, and I'm hosting today. Abby could not join us, so we fill in the blanks where we can. Today's episode is called Go On, Do Your Duty. We are recording on November 23rd, 2018. Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode 10, Mother's Mercy. Listen to the Drinks and Knows Things podcast on Radio Public. It's free, easy to use, and helps listeners like you find and support shows like ours. When you listen to our show on Radio Public's Android or iOS app, everyone benefits. As always, here in studio, I am joined by Glenn of House Dog.
Hello.
What's up? What are you drinking?
I am drinking a Select.
A Bud Select.
Bud Select.
And via the interwebs, Benj, Slive House McLean. What's up, buddy?
Howdy. How's it going?
No, not too bad. What are you drinking? Still working on your variety pack? Sure enough. Shock Top variety pack.
Shock Top Belgian White. Yes.
And Thomas the Tank Ben, as usual.
Belgian.
We are not joined by Abby. She is having medical issues with her husband and wasn't able to join us today. So in our thoughts and prayers if you do that kind of thing. And yeah, we'll hopefully see her next time. Our guest may join us. We'll see. Kind of having misconnections here on the actual special guest joining us, but who knows? Maybe they'll pop in.
Misconnect.
And we'll introduce at that point. This show and all of our shows at thepodcastthat.com are produced with the love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons. Learn more about our reward tiers at patreon.com/stayimaginary. So, previous episode recap.
So, real quick before, every time you say that, it just makes me think we got imaginary, like, just people, made up people that are supporting our page.
Yeah, I mean, technically, they are imaginary.
Like one of those dating websites wherever there's all kinds of like robots
with just like stock image. Like.
Yeah, like there's like
bots,
1 out of 10 that is an actual person, and the other people are just fake.
I like to think
and shit.
All of those fake profiles are potential patrons of ours.
Hey, as long as there's an email account attached to it, they can be real.
Right. So previous episode recap, Benj. What did we talk about last week?
Jaime breaks some bread with some Southerners. Bronn gets compensated for a flea bite. Stannis sends his hand to the wall. Arya spots a wild Trant. Dany is disappointed in her entertainment and burns out at halftime. And Stannis holds a barbecue in honor of his daughter.
Rough. All right. Well, that was, pretty rough scene to end. I guess I was actually in the middle of the episode for us last week, but
I still think that was more impactful. That should have been the last scene over the Dany flying off. Personally,
I didn't do the editing for the Game of Thrones by HBO, so I can't change it.
Fair enough, but I'm allowed to edit my previous on.
And that's fine. This is again episode 10 of season 5, the finale, and it was 61 minutes long, and it aired on June 14th, 2015. Yep. Directed by David Nutter, written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Glenny Dog. Episode description.
Season 5 finale. Stannis marches. Dany is surrounded by strangers. Cersei seeks forgiveness. Jon is challenged.
Okay.
All right.
I think maybe some of those things happened. So, trivia, Quill and Tankard Pub trivia. You guys want? I'm going to give you guys the choice. I've got 3 questions.
Just ask one of them.
I'm just going to ask one of them. How hard do you want it?
How hard do you want it?
Ask the chat. Put it out to the chat. Label them 1, 2, or 3, and see which. Do a quick chat poll.
Okay. All right. So in the chat, just give me a number 1, 2, or 3. The first 5 answers will. And while we're waiting for that,
Got 1 for 3.
I've got 1 for 3.
2 for 3.
Looks like
that looks
All
like
right.
the
might
winner.
be asking three.
Runaway question. All right, number 3. What are the 2 publicly stated crimes Cersei must atone for? And thank you for your participation, chat.
Yes, thank you very much.
Made that a lot easier.
Yeah, I have a feeling this was probably on the low end of the difficulty questions. So,
They were actually all pretty easy, I thought.
okay, fair enough.
Thumbs up if you're ready.
Yeah.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
And I know.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hit enter.
Chrissy's got the right one.
So we have fornication and fibs and fornication and false witness. The correct answer is falsehood and fornication.
So fibs is also an acronym for.
I think either you both get it or neither of you get it. I'm gonna go with you guys. You guys both get it, and I'll allow it. I like fibs, fornication and fibs.
You said some fibs. We're very mad at you.
That sounds like an album title: fornication and fibs.
Fornication and
Oh
fibs.
yeah,
So
that's
we
a folk punk name.
right? Yeah.
Folk punk band.
Even falsehood and fornication would be a pretty good one too.
Yeah.
So 2 points are handed out to you guys. We don't know where Abby's gonna be on that. But for right now, the finals of
She might get fornication, but there's no way she's gonna get fibs.
she might miss out on fibs. If she says fibs, I think it's an extra bonus point. So that puts Glenn with 2 on the season, Ben with 4 on the season. Abby is sitting at 4 without answering this one, and I have 5. So Abby could come in and still sweep the board if she gets 2 points out of this somehow.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
What were the other questions?
Or we could go with another question now, and I could catch up to you.
No,
Yeah,
no.
You're only supposed to get one.
I
was
can
gonna
tell
say,
you what the
but,
questions are. They were easier. I thought this one was
Okay.
the tougher of the 3. Not that it was
Well,
impossible, but
what were they?
how many times did Maren Trent use the switch?
4.
5. 1 on the first 2 girls each, and then 3 on Arya. Broke
That's
on the
right.
3rd swing. And how many times was John stabbed?
5, 6.
It was 6.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Maybe I should have gone with one of those. No.
Well, don't blame us. Blame
Thanks, Chad. You
Yeah,
guys.
thank you, Chad. You
the
helped.
chat.
All right, so let's go ahead and kick off into this episode where we do have our opening creds with Dinklage, King's Landing, Winterfell, Castle Black, Bravos, Marine, and Dorne. Exactly the same as it was last episode. And
Have we touched on the Winterfell with the
Bolton
thing?
Yeah, I think because that was the beginning of season 5 that
I
showed
think
up.
episode 2 was when it switched.
Mm-hmm. So nothing real new here, but that's worth checking in every once in a while. So we open up on the King's Road, and I did notice as you were doing your notes here, Benj, for the scenes, this really was chronological with the episode.
Yeah,
They didn't jump
Yeah.
around back and forth much at all. They really didn't at all.
I don't think it was at all. Yeah.
So we're at the King's Road with Stannis, Mel, and Selyse. The snows start to melt. Stannis learns of desertion. Selyse goes for a swing, and Mel takes a ride. Benj, kick us off.
And the day really started so good for Mel. She's all happy, getting dressed. She's like doing herself up. She's hugging on Stannis, and she's like, "Oh,
a chipper.
such a nice day." And but then the hits just keep on coming to the Mantis. She's like, first, how many did we lose? About half the men deserted. And you can see Mel's like, oh, fuck.
And the horses too, right?
Right. All of them with
The
horses.
horses. All the people that were important with horses, yeah, they're gone.
Yeah. Mel's like, I'm gonna go this way.
Glenny?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think we were talking about this a little bit last episode, but like now is when like you see Celeste giving a shit, and throughout these whole seasons, and she's kind of a bitch and doesn't really care much for Shireen or whatever. And now like after like the whole thing happens, now she decides it was wrong and she hangs herself. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like, how did she just become a person all at once here? Like within 2 episodes, it like I guess just all catches up to her. I guess. Yeah, it's
right. And yeah, definitely Mel gets the fuck out of Dodge once things start turning wrong, and the one guy's, yeah, we saw Lady Massandra leave.
right. Yeah,
Like, oh shit.
it was like, yeah, like kind of what Benji kicked off. I was like, oh, half the men left, and then it gets worse.
And it gets worse from there.
It just keeps getting worse because then, oh yeah, Celeste, your wife, hung herself or hanged herself, and then it's like, okay, well,
At least I got my other girl.
yeah, well, because it's even funny because even Stannis is like, what's worse than it can't be much worse than mutiny. Like, what? Just go ahead and fucking spit it out, Jack. And so he does. He's like, okay, that's kind of worse. That sucks a lot. And then like he's just like in the end of like dealing with this instant blow, and yeah, and also the red woman, she bounced as well. Do you ever just feel like you're just being abandoned, like left and right? You're the only one standing here at some point. Like, I don't know. Is it surprising that he continues forward?
Kind of. Yeah,
For Stannis, no, but anybody else, yeah.
Yeah, we'll maybe touch on that as we.
at least the
continue
snow.
there.
At least the snow was melting.
Snow was melting. That is true. Any other thoughts here? Just kind of sucks blow after blow, time after time. All right. Then we will head to Castle Black, where we have John, Sam, Gilly, and a bundle of cloth they claim is Little Sam. John talks of his encounters at Hardhome. Sam requests leave to bury his nose in some books. Benj.
You just been beaten half to death. How did you? Very carefully. Very, very carefully.
Oh, yeah, when he was talking about him and Gilly.
Yeah, him and Gilly. But, really, as Eamon, kind of brought it up to John of why they don't take wives and everything, love is the death of duty. We kind of covered this a little bit with Sam last episode. But he does not give a shit about the Night's Watch. He only cares about Gilly. And so that's their whole point of, why they make them take the vows, saying you can't, have a wife, can't raise children because we need you to, care about this. And John's just letting Sam take love over duty, because they even said, the Citadel will make you swear off women too. And he's like, they could damn well try, and he's just like,
Bullshit.
That ain't happening. I've had it. I ain't stopping now.
Right. Yeah. I
Go
have a
ahead.
taste. I'm going all in.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So my notes it just seems like John he's continuing to be in this kind of catch-22 of maybe it's right. He wants to get the wildlings, but like his men, they're all gonna like hate him for it or whatever. And then like now Sam wants to leave after all this. Like he kind of realizes that like his friends are kind of dwindling. I think.
Yeah, no, exactly. The only friends left now that he has are wildlings.
Wildlings
he's got
and
Tormund and
Ed,
Wan. Yeah, Ed, true. I am glad that. Yeah, we'll talk about this later in the show, but I'm glad they left Ed out of that because definitely didn't need to be added in there. But yeah, I mean, this scene, it's yeah, there's Luke. I was about to read his note, but I'll let him go ahead, Luke.
Sorry, had to go deal with something upstairs. But yeah, so I like when they're kind of talking and John's like, because Sam is like, oh, I need to leave, I need to go do this Maester thing. And John's like, if you leave, who's left to give me advice that I trust? And he's like, Well, there's Ed, and even like they both kind of like I mean that's true, but like what? Like maybe not the most reliable.
We can count on Ralph. Shut up, Ralph.
Shut up, Ralph.
This is no time for joking.
I just thought it was a pretty funny moment between those two, and
Yeah. And then I just wanted to make the note of, as they're riding away, that it's just a bundle of cloths, that's all. There's no baby in there. It's like, why pay the acting fee? Just,
it works. It's worked for centuries, and why change it now? Yeah, so I don't know. Any surprise that Sam is making the choice himself to leave the Night's Watch for a time, at least, to go do this?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I do, because this is different than book scene of where it was John sending him down. This is Sam requesting it, and it honestly makes more sense this way for Sam to want to do this. It fits his character.
Yeah, come on down.
Clovis!
Clovis is in the house.
Dude, gotta hurry. You gotta tell me.
I love the ornaments on our tree.
Yeah? Say hi to everyone.
Hi.
Hey, Clovis.
Who is that?
Uncle Benji.
Yeah.
Hey, Griff. How you doing, buddy?
Ornaments?
I like the ornaments at our house.
Yeah.
All right. You said see you later.
Griffin, what? Griffin.
And I like the tree at our house because there are a lot of ornaments on there, and the rug. And I'm excited about Christmas. Bye.
Hey, what do you think about Sam becoming a maester?
You think Sam should become a maester?
Oh.
No, bad.
Can I keep your wool safe?
He's gonna be real safe if he stays right there. Can you go upstairs? I'll see you in a little bit. That one is I don't remember.
Hey, you can
Yeah,
take one of them,
Here, take that one.
but don't break it.
Please don't. They've all been broken before.
Take
right.
red eyes.
All right. So yeah, Clovis doesn't think that Sam should go, and I think that's telling.
That's obviously he does his homework.
Yeah, I mean he was watching it with us. Paw Patrol on
Paw
one
Patrol.
TV.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones on the
He
other.
was fixed on one of them.
All right. Final thoughts here at Castle Black this first go round. Just a lot of things that pieces that need to move. All right, so then we go to Winterfell. We've got Stannis, Pod, Brienne, and Sansa. Stannis marches on Winterfell. Brienne gives up on her watch to enact vengeance. Sansa puts up the one, if by land, a bit too late. Glennie.
I like how Stannis is like, basically they're all walking there because remember the horses are gone.
The horses
So-
are gone.
They're marching, I guess, and I like how his Stannis says the siege begins at sunrise, and then like, sure as shit, right after that you see, Ramsay's men kind of come in on horseback, like, nope, it begins now.
It's going now.
That was something else, I think.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like after all this kind of stuff has gone kind of south for Stannis, and he really didn't have a plan. We're just marching.
It's like, well, fuck it at this point. Let's
Yeah.
just go
Let's
for it.
Let's just get there. Let's arrive, and then we'll stay at the hotel for a little bit. And
Get our bearings. Nope. Guess what? The concierge is waiting for you.
Yeah.
looking to upsell you.
Your presentation is now. Well, you got to go. It's been moved up to now.
Bench?
So I got two things on there. First, I loved how, when the welcoming committee showed up, you could hear Stannis's men like, "We stand no chance." Like, I think there was legitimately one person, like one guy in the back, like, "How we have no chance for that." And then as the horses start to circle, literally you could see Stannis men peeling off from the back. I
Mhm.
think I got a shot of it, but like you can see him like just saying, "Fuck this, we're out." But my other note was, you had one job, Brienne. One fucking job. and you failed. Granted, I know you've sat there for months on end or weeks on end waiting, but literally, it's like 30 seconds.
It's less than that. It's like, oh, they turn away, and then like, oh, a mile off, you can see the light go on. You're like, oh, and then you see the shot, which I see you got here, of Sansa in the window. You're like, really, that one fucking candle is making enough light that we saw on the far view
In the middle of the day.
I don't know. I guess it's that one there. It's just kind of like, I don't know. But we did see, so what, last episode or two, we saw Sansa pick up that corkscrew deal.
That was the last episode, I believe.
And that's what she used to pick the lock to get out here. I saw you got the pics of that. So nice job on that. So
pics of the pick.
I just remember seeing, like, the first time we saw that, I was like, oh, she's gonna use that to just stab Ramsay in the brain
for her benefit,
like just to kill him with it. But
it's gonna be a tool.
Maynard James Keenan. There you go. But then she gets out, right? And yeah, it's again just it's kind of, I don't know, dramatic irony that literally right when Sansa gets the chance to go do it herself is exactly when everything else is kind of hitting the fan. And
gotcha. And it was actually episode 8 for the pickup. Sorry,
I thought it was 2 episodes ago. But
something I found pretty interesting was that we saw when Stannis' men kind of came after the wildlings, they're kind of like on horseback, had the upper hand, and now the turntables, Stannis is in that position while somebody else's horse and men are coming after him.
Yeah, and I mean, even with I was also a little surprised that the Boltons came out to fight in the field. I mean, they still have all of the advantage of the walls. There's no siege.
Well,
but they probably saw the numbers coming and they're like,
let's just wipe it out and be done with it. Which is
he lit those fires in the camps, so he
pretty effective fires.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Yeah, the fires plus the Shireen fire, I think, were the real things that killed.
That's why the snow melted.
That was the snow. Yeah, you're right there. Any other thoughts here? It was Pod that recognized the Flaming Heart banner.
Yeah, how about Pod? He had like 3 bunnies. Did you see that?
Was he?
He was coming up. He had a couple buns.
Couple buns in the oven, right there.
Right there. Yeah.
Let's see if I can. Bam! Look at them buns. Nice buns, Pod.
Becoming a good hunter.
Now the question is, does he remember to skin him this time?
I would hope so.
Oh, he learned his lesson the first time.
We've never seen him to be taught. Had to be told things twice.
Right.
I think he gets it. I think he's coachable, as Abby would say. All right, so then we have kind of the post-battle, right? Which
well, the start of post-battle is the best way to put it.
My note was the battle montage.
Yeah,
because it just kind of skips a lot of the battle, kind of like reminiscent of other battles we've
Whispering
seen.
Wood,
Whispering Eye, and
telling you Whispering Eye. Thanks, vagina. Is that Role Models?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yep. But we see post battle where there's just dead men, and Stannis kind of gets up on his own 2 feet and is approached by two chums. But we have Kingsmen, Bolton men, Stannis, Brienne. Stannis's men are decimated, which they were more than decimated. They were obliterated, and Brienne upholds her vow. So, Glennie, you
battle montage.
The battle montage.
It's I guess some of the battles just kind of ended in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seemed like they were on the open field, and then
kind of got pushed back.
Let's head for the woods. Maybe we have a fighting chance there. I don't know.
Yeah, isn't that Iron Maiden song, "Run to the Woods"?
Hills.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, Benj, what do you got here?
Even in death, Stannis can respect duty. But I still stand by this. If you die off screen, you are not dead in the show. And we did not see the sword land. So I was just for the halfway, for the off season for the show, I'm like, Stannis could still be alive. Brienne might have pulled some chicanery or something. But I mean, knowing her, it didn't happen. But I was like, if you die off screen, you're not technically dead.
Right.
Until it's been otherwise confirmed.
I wonder why they chose not to.
Yeah.
Show
that was
kind of pondering, but
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they probably should have showed it because I don't think there's really any doubt about it. I mean, yeah, I agree that it is pretty easy to hold that. Oh, if they didn't die on screen, they didn't really die. I mean, she's swinging the sword. I don't think she chose to miss at the end because this is the number one thing that she's given a shit about outside of the Stark girls. But I mean that's it.
But this is on the front burner because
This is the front burner.
she gave up her other job to do this. So.
Exactly. And I will say, I love a lot of things about this scene between Brienne and Stannis. The fight with Stannis earlier between those two guys, that was a pretty solid fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're talking about the chums?
the couple chums, the sacrificial
The
hams, if you will.
Sacrificial chums.
Sacrificial chums. He takes a pretty bad leg wound, but still ends up taking both of them out after he's clearly already seen some fighting in battle.
Some
here.
carnage.
Some carnage, if you will. And
Yep.
like I like the way Stannis kind of accepts it here at the end. He's that's his main thing. Go on, do your duty. But Brienne calling Renly the rightful king and like all of that, like, I mean, come on, you're wrong. Like it's just laid out a bit thick by the character. Like I think it was acted well. I think it all made sense. And I think, I guess maybe that gave Stannis the kind of confirmation that she's doing this for what she believes is right and true. But, like, come on. He was never the rightful king. Get the fuck out of here. Renly, get out of here.
King.
He was definitely a self-proclaimed king. There's no doubt about that. But, I don't know. Really, really good scene, though, I thought, overall. And, yeah, maybe could have shown the death, but then we move on to Ramsay, Sansa, Miranda, and Reek. Ramsay accepts surrender. Sansa is confronted by her husband's pets, and Reek lets a little Theon out.
Little Theon was cut off, I thought.
Little Theon was sent home to Pike. Glenn?
Yeah, it's funny seeing Theon kind of go to bat for Sansa. Like we haven't seen him do this in a while. Like basically since he became Reek, he's kind of been little pussy or whatever. But like we finally see him kind of break out of it a little bit, and then I think basically a well-timed death for Miranda as far as like the character market goes, because I think like if they would have just given her more of a role, like more roles and stuff like that, and I think she would have became like one of those annoying
With like just enough screen time.
Right, where it was kind of like I know who she is. She doesn't have that big a part, but it works. But I feel like some characters, they just give a whole bunch of character stuff that they didn't. It might have been in like the books or something like that, and they give it to like this one character.
Consolidated characters into one, like an Ollie or like Roz.
Right.
Which is, I mean, it's fine, but at the same time, like, you've played your part. Like,
it just seems like
get it.
they do that, and then they like once it runs its scores, they just kind of drag it on for a while.
Yeah, let it dawdle. Benj?
Well, I guess Theon and Sansa are dead now too, because we didn't see them land. So by the definition of last scene, they're dead too, because they just jumped up a fucking parapet. It's a way to go.
Jump. Pretty high jump.
That was.
I mean, that's like book-wise,
trampoline.
it makes it sound okay. This is livable. There's some big high snow piles. They didn't play that up very well show-wise. They just showed that down the fucking side of a goddamn wall.
Well,
they're like, okay, we're out, and it's it was just kind of one of those things like, well, guess they're dead now too. But I mean,
I think what happened was the fire department showed up because they thought that there was a big fire because the candle that Sansa lit looked so big. So they were
the one smoke alarm.
like,
went
oh
off.
god damn it, like a false alarm or whatever. And then these people are jumping, and so they got the trampoline or whatever out. And that's what. So the right place, right time.
Yeah, we see that time and time again. Like
especially
Miranda gets pushed off on the inside 10 seconds before the gates open back up, and so I mean you're thrust into this really really quick situation, and it was lucky that also at the same time the first responders were getting there with their big catching trampoline, or a big pie.
A big pie.
Like
a
in the
big
cartoons.
pie. or like a tiny pool.
A tiny pool off the high dive.
Yeah, then they like a little splash.
Yeah, I mean, when faced with certain death, you just kind of have to. I mean, they're clearly going to be killed in a much more torturous way for
Yes.
staying. Take the chance of dying via broken legs. I mean, and like just squashing. What did they die from? Squashed.
Squash.
As Dog City is very
What
eloquently
is a
says, it's not the fall that kills you; it's the sudden and impactful stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I don't know. I think it doesn't look like we have a good picture of the snow
downward.
drifts that are
no.
there, but they're not nearly as like pillowy as it's described in the book.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. But I do think they sell it really well. Of like, yeah, I mean, might as well commit suicide as a
Come on,
chance.
Thelma.
Right, basically. And but yeah, it was a good scene. I do think the CG is pretty bad when Miranda falls. I always thought it was pretty rough for the body actually falling. Looks pretty rough. Falling's tough.
That
I
thud.
think.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why it's my top, fear.
But yeah, I don't know. Like thoughts on kind of what Miranda was doing there, like when she kind of had her at bow and arrow point, and she was basically saying like, "Oh, you want me to choose either to shoot you now or like leave the parts that Ramsey needs, or just wait until he gets here to punish you."
Yeah, this was like the classic. The bad guy has the person at gunpoint, and he gives him the chance. Any last words? Oh yeah, fuck off, boo. Or like just gives them enough time to kind of hit the gun out of their hand, and
Right. They're like
It's
talking
like-
and they're like walking right into their face.
If you would have just said, "I'm gonna kill you," bam.
Yeah, shoot their kneecaps out to start with.
Yeah,
Let's start there.
I'm gonna waste time so something can happen, where you get out of this pickle.
Yeah, definitely. Final thoughts here. I mean, you gotta make a choice.
You got to do what you got to do.
And staying is the do nothing option would be a bad option here.
It wasn't us.
It was an option. It would be a bad option. So let's head on over to Bravos. We'll take a Jojen jet fighter.
Trojan boat.
Jojen boat. Take a Jojen boat. Where we have Arya, MFT, who is Marin fucking Trant, Jacques Queen Hagar, and Waif. Arya crosses off the first name on her list and blinded by the rage. So yeah, I mean, pretty I don't know, gruesome kill here. Plenty thoughts.
Yeah, we see him as he's public enemy number one. You guys agree with that, or? I mean, she says you're the first on my list, but do you think, like, if she had to pick of who do I want to kill, do you think he's heads and shoulders above everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, because of the Syrio thing, because of her father, I think at this point,
For the people left on her list,
Cersei,
Cersei would still be pretty high.
the Mountain.
Mountain would still be pretty high. It's hard to say. I think Joffrey easily would have been top, but clearly,
Yeah,
I mean,
but she knew
no
he was
spoilers,
dead,
He was
so-
killed
The
a
fucking
couple seasons
vagina.
ago. But,
Yeah, my other note is we see MFT was pretty helpless whenever he found out the helpless girl wasn't helpless. Like once Arya like kind of reveals herself and like stabs him in the eye, he like could do like nothing.
yeah, I mean, she used the surprise attack pretty effectively.
He's like turned into a possum or whatever.
Oh no! I mean, I don't know. Like the first stab through the right eye was a pretty deep hit. Like it was pretty well struck.
Right.
And then she goes for like the rapid 7 jabs to the chest, or she gets the other eye first, right?
Yeah. And then do you know who I am? Like he could see and
his mouth is also she's already stuffed the rag into his mouth.
do you recognize?
I can't hear you. Oh.
Oh, dude, if you go like one or two more pictures, there's a couple that
Dad.
Well, that one's nasty.
Just give
I'm
a
thinking the
warning
one
to anyone
where she's
watching along the live stream right now. It might get gruesome.
yeah, fair warning. But for mine, this is so beautifully done. The scene is probably the most satisfying kill in the series. I will say that probably one of the most satisfying, just rage filled murder rampages. And Arya goes from a chick who's killed a few just because she's had to and needed to an outright fucking psychopath on the level of Jigsaw or American Psycho or whatever. Just that shot right there, her just kneeling. Do you know who I am? Oh, you were the first on my list. Many names were taken, or there's been a few taken, but you were the one I wanted first. Or you, and it's just so beautiful, and she just lets him suffer. I don't just speechless at it because it was just so well done, and I like the gruesome and horror film stuff. So this was a nice kind of, I don't know, sentiment to like that psycho killer. Just no remorse whatsoever. Just enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, she definitely lets him suffer, but she also doesn't leave him to bleed out. She
finishes
closes the door on have them die on screen.
Yeah.
She gets that.
I know this.
She gets
story. I know how this works.
Yeah, and my only other note on this is I like the line: "The faces are meant for no one, but to someone, the faces can be poison." And just that ending scene with Jaqen and her, because she's thinking, "Well, shit, he just killed himself," and it's a whole roller coaster of emotion for her. But it was a well delivered, well done, scene.
Yeah, and kind of the main thing that Jock Queen Hagar gets to is, only death can pay for life, and we've heard that multiple times. And so she clearly thinks that they're about to kill her, and then he ends up killing himself. But it's also not really him. It's truly a no one. But there had to be some sacrifice made for her behalf. So it's like, who's this other guy? Like, it was clearly another faceless man, right? I mean, is kind of what I get from it, and it seems like an overall.
We're gonna train you to be a faceless man, so we can use you at this part to where you're gonna die.
Right, you're right, because she's a lot more important than you, I guess, and she's unproven and kind of a wild card here. But I don't know. Good scene. Definitely
Could have been one that would, like an upper guy that's like, you know what, I'm ready to die. I'm old. It's time. Let's use this as a teaching tool.
It could be a team motivation.
Let's play a prank on it.
A team building.
A team building exercise. Yeah. But yeah, Waif still. I mean, you could tell I think she didn't know necessarily everything that was going to happen here either.
She had kind of like a shit-eating grin.
Yeah. Oh, I told you when she wasn't ready.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
The birth of the Waifinator.
Right. Pretty much. We're getting there.
Why are you crying?
But then she is blinded by the end of it, and that kind of
wrapped
sucks.
up like a douche.
I guess so.
I was thinking he more blinded her with science.
Science. Final thoughts on Faceless Men and Bravos for season 5. All right.
Not badly done. I'm not against this season of Bravos.
So let's move to Dorne, and we have Doran, Bronn, Obara, Nim, Tyene, Ilaria, Jaime, Myrcella, Trystane, and Ario Hota. The Bronn and the Lannisters say their goodbye to their Dornish friends. Jaime spills the beans, and Myrcella goes white as a ghost. Glennie, you got much on this?
Yeah. Basically, the whole time, like Jaime was really awkward when he was trying to, spill the beans or whatever, and she's just kind of like, oh, I know. So it's like one of the worst kept secrets, I think.
Mm-hmm. Even he's kind of surprised that she knows.
Yeah.
Like, it might be one thing to have heard rumors,
right?
But the fact that she just outright already
I know what you're gonna say,
and like,
yeah.
I'm good. We're good. Like, I know. It's okay.
I did the math.
Pretty fucking obvious, Dad. I mean,
I took one
Yeah,
of those tests.
I'm taller than King Robert. Come on.
23.
she did the 23 and me.
A heritage thing.
I've been on Ancestry.com, Dad. Come on. It's all the rage.
When your family tree doesn't fork, you might be a Lannister.
Hey.
But
So, yeah, Benj, go with your first line there.
so my first note is there it is. I've been waiting all season. I couldn't remember where it is, but the dumbest line in the entire show. You want a bad girl, or you want a good girl, but you really need a bad pussy. Oh, fuck off. She had like I remember the line. I couldn't remember where it was, and it's like right here. This is the one where it's like, come on, don't be that. Don't you just don't. But
Don't
my
do that.
second. Don't do that. Just you're good. I mean, like for the most part, I actually like the character. On this watch through, I was like, I don't hate this character. It's not bad, but that line just so annoying.
That was a bad line. I'll agree with that. And it's like something out of a softcore porn or something like that.
Yeah. But my next note on it is the most satisfying death is followed by the most heartbreaking. And I will say that with Marcella, because she just accepted her father for being her father, and he was in love with it. Or like not in love with it, but like he, was like, oh, overjoyed. He was the Grinch. Then the Grinch's heart grew 3 times larger that day. I was like, oh, awesome. And nosebleed. It's like, oh, fuck.
And he didn't really have a whole lot of time. Like they didn't have a whole lot of time to kind of be in the moment until she kind of croaked. But
yeah, it was kind of like, at least they got that moment. Even like 10 seconds of being out there in the open.
And the moment's gone.
And the moment's gone. Yeah. See, he also kind of brings up, arranged marriages are rarely so well arranged. I mean, shout out to Tyrion for that one, right? I mean, I don't know if Jaime knows that, but I think he knows that.
But I think Cersei mentioned it to him. I think she said the imp sold my daughter off to the Dornish.
Right, but in this scene, he's not actively thinking of, wow, way to go, Tyrion. But like, he probably should.
Tyrion once said.
But yeah, so giving him some props without even realizing it, I think. And but yeah, short-lived. Daddy-daughter dance was short-lived, and they'll never have another.
Yeah, I did like in the scene when you get that the cut back to Ilaria and her nose bleeding and all that. It was one because I didn't see this coming. I'm not gonna lie. First time through, didn't expect it. You're like, okay, let's see how this plays out. And then all of a sudden that goes, and you're like, what the fuck? Then they cut back to Ilaria, and you're like, oh yeah, she kissed her. Oh, yeah. It was very subtly done.
Yeah. So what'd you think of the lipstick poison? I mean, it seems pretty dangerous for her to use it herself. I mean, clearly she starts getting the nosebleed and then takes the antidote. I guess it's kind of a ticking alarm
anecdote
to know, like, okay, well, right about now is when it's actually going into effect.
When you start to nosebleed, you take, the
exactly.
The
and nothing's saying Marcella died that quickly. She might have suffered for hour or days, an hour afterwards. It might not work that fast.
No,
but that nosebleed.
We know that it works that fast. That was part of that whole most beautiful woman in the world scene where Bronn is dealing with this exact same poison. But
again, that lasted a lot longer.
Well, he got time to sing.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know how long it took to get the
cells.
rigging in the ship up. They could have been sitting in the boat for a little while,
So we don't really know because, both scenes, like with the Bronn scene, he gets arrested. We don't know how long they're in the cells until, he starts to sing and then starts to feel bad. The same thing with the boat is we don't know how long they're in the boat together and, kind of just waiting to depart, set sail, if you will.
But what I'm saying is, even with the nosebleed kind of thing, it could still take a little while to bleed out.
Good, yeah.
On it, so
did Bronn? I don't think Bronn had a bloody nose, did he?
He did. Yeah, he did. Right?
Did
he? Right towards the end, he started having a bloody nose. So it was. You're right. Once the bloody nose starts, it's a fast acting.
Right. That's where I was coming from.
That's fair.
That indicator, it goes pretty quick from there, as far as we could tell.
If you go to webmd.com, symptoms, nose.
No, I think it's maestermd.com.
Maestermd.com.
Webmaster.
That Weirwood.
Weird. Oh man. Okay. So, you should check out Audible and get a free 30-day trial and a book on us. Go out and get Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin himself, and you can learn about the Targaryen dynasty, starting with Aegon's conquest. I'm about halfway through it. I also actually started Wild Cards this past week, so I've been kind of flipping back and forth.
And you started that book with
No.
John Lennon and
No, I didn't.
Harrison on it.
That's your book.
Indian.
Chant and Be Happy. If you want to get that one, feel free.
Also, weren't you saying that there is Fire and Blood that you can get on Audible that Yoda reads the whole thing, and it's called Blood, Fire, and?
Yeah, and it's read by, it's got the narrator's full name of Yoda Lehihu.
Lehihu is his last name.
is officially Yoda's last name. If you didn't know that, Dog Sidious in the chat can confirm, I think.
Yoda.
Our resident Star Wars expert. But definitely go to, I'll post this link here in our chat.
Read by Yoda Lehihu.
But go to thepodcast.com/support us and click on the Audible affiliate links to get your free audiobook today. Yoda Lehihu.
Blood, Fire,
Blood, Fire, and read by Roy Detrice and Yoda Lehihu. But we are going to move along to Marine, where we have Tyrion, Jorah, Missandei, Grey Worm, Varys, and Dari 2.0.
Grey Worm.
Oh.
There is 2 Grey Worm.
The crew concoct a plan to find the queen and control the city. An old friend returns with some words of encouragement. Benj.
A grand old city, choking on violence, corruption, and deceit. Who would have such experience managing such a massive, ungainly beast? Oh, Varys, you know how to stroke my fancy, sir. He's just like, Varys just comes in with exactly what Tyrion needs to hear. He needs that ego boost, needs that ego stroke, stroked, and because he wanted to ride off. And I loved how fucking Dario's like, well, are you great on horseback? Not particularly. Are you good in a battle? I haven't died yet, but it's like, yeah, you're pretty much worthless to us at this moment.
Skills.
You stay, little man.
You're good at talking and drinking.
And drinking. Let's be clear.
No, I like Tyrion in this scene because he's just, I don't know if he's just trying to like fit in or just kind of being an asshole or whatever, but then like he's talking to Missandei, he's like, my Valyrian is a bit nostril.
Mm-hmm. It's just like the classic, just using the wrong vocab word.
Yeah, like not saying the right word, but saying a different word, and you're supposed to be saying another one.
Yeah, and if you listen, they sound really. It's like, oh, they're off by like a couple letters. Like it's in the same kind of family of
the same ballpark. You're saying,
yeah. So it's like a kind of a reasonable miss, and I think she gets that. And he's like, no, you don't mean nostril, you mean rusty.
Rusty and nostril.
Yeah,
they're close.
In High Valyrian, apparently.
And Number Kids brings up a good point too. So we know they made it out alive from the pits. Kind of no explanation from there. It all ended. Drogon flew off. Okay, let's go home.
Party's over here.
Well, I mean, they wanted to kill Dany and the dragon. These schmucks. Who cares? Like, what are they gonna do? But I really, really liked Tyrion in the scene as well. For whenever Jorah's kind of standing up and he's like, "You've been here for how many days? I've been fighting for her, for years since she was a child." And Tyrion's like, "And you betrayed her? Like what the fuck, man?" And he's like, "I've paid my crimes." And he's like, and Tyrion's like, "She exiled you twice, I believe. One was just like a couple days ago, if that." And he basically, Jorah does the Jorah thing of blaming everybody else besides himself. And Tyrion just calls him out. He's like, "Don't blame me for your crimes, Mormont. Like, you fucking did it. There is no doubt what you did. Whether or not your intentions have changed after that. Like, oh, I killed that guy and I meant it at the time. I feel bad about it now. It doesn't change the fact that you deserve to be punished for the crime."
Right.
So
and they're not
And you can't blame that person for dying when you put your sword through their heart. Like, no.
They're no longer in that kidnapper-kidnappee relationship that they had earlier. Now it's a
Right. Equal playing field. Or close to.
I like how Tyrion's just kind of talking the whole time, and Dario's like, does he always talk this much? And Jorah's like,
pretty much.
Yep.
And then also going back to the Varys part, he's like, we were having a good adventure, a good time on our travels till you left, till you abandoned me. You would think Tyrion would be like, didn't really do it by choice.
Was not part of my plan.
Kind of got slung over and carried off.
Yeah, I definitely always I like seeing Varys kind of just turn up and be like, yeah, this is where I can start fitting in now. Like he's got a part to play now, and it's kind of timing always works out for him a bit.
He's like he's always playing chess where somebody makes a move and then he's gonna make another move off of that one. So he plays off people.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and they're a pretty powerful duo.
Yeah,
I think.
Act like you've been there the whole time.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, this was always planned."
Don't you know, you've always been here.
Continental breakfast. Final thoughts here. Some of this was a little bit painful. I thought just kind of like, hey, we have to like have these 6 characters interact really quickly. Let's have one scene and just lump it all together.
Yeah, about what the end game is of
right. Like, oh, here's where we are. Here's why I don't like you, and here's why you two might not like each other. And then Dario steps in and he's like, well, I have to be the one that settles this, and that is not Dario.
No. But I will say this is actually a decently acted scene on Dario's part. I was going to make that note. It was like he actually held his own with the likes of, Tyrion, and acting-wise, that actor compared to Peter, he actually did a decent job.
You mean Petire Dinklage?
Yeah.
Petire Dinklage.
PD. The big D.
Peter.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump out to the Dothraki Sea, where we see Dany, Drogon, and a horde. Dany is lost at sea with her serpent and is found by some kind of old acquaintances. I don't know how kind they are, but
some kind of old acquaintances.
But I will say they've definitely been to some metal shows, some metal music shows. Solid circle pit going on here around.
Circle up. If they fall, pick them up.
Pick them up. Don't be that guy. But like, wouldn't Drogon hear those noises? Like, it seemed like she walked like maybe like just around the side of
around the bend,
and he's tired, I guess. But seems like he would maybe step in here.
He was kind of like just like, fuck, Mom, I'm tired. Fuck off. You see the shit I had to deal with? Let me lay down for a bit, okay? Go get me some goddamn nuggets. He's a fucking teenager.
He's got plenty of nuggets laying around there in his little burn pit.
Yeah. I my note is I think it's just amazing how many Dothraki just show up out of pretty much nowhere. Kind of by the thousand. Like all we see is there's none of them.
It's like a guy, and then she looks the other way, and it's 3 guys, and then she looks the other way, and it's like 19 guys, and then she looks the other way, and it's like 20,000 guys. Those pictures were perfect for that too. I've done that one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
and like you
how
can
are
see
they
him
sneaking up on anybody.
Yeah, often like in the distance you can see him like way
it's
a mile
like,
away.
Like down the valley, and like they're still going. But yeah, then they start circling her, and like, I guess that's pretty intimidating. Like, is it really worth that amount of effort? Like, it's not like a giant that they just surrounded and like
it's a girl.
I mean, in their minds, it should just be, well, you're just some random girl that's gonna be a slave now.
I don't know. Let's exactly. Get all of us. Everybody goes. Like, do they all know who this chick is? I mean, of all the Dothraki that ever were, they happened to. Oh wait, I know that bitch.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Her hair does look phenomenal still. I think for the record, I think I saw Dog Sidious say that in the chat, and yeah, I mean the wig is holding up after flying on out of the pit.
I'm glad she's not having digestional issues at this point.
Yeah, as opposed to the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's more to it than that in the book potentially. So
Well, true.
final. I mean, so she gets picked up and she drops the brooch on the
Yeah.
floor on the
Ring.
ground.
It was a ring.
It was a ring. You're right. You're right.
You wouldn't last one day out in the roach.
Out in the roach. There's a Baelish reference for you. All right, so let's go to King's Landing. Get through these Dothraki pictures. And we see Cersei, High Sparrow, Septa Unella, Qyburn, Sir Robert Strong, Kevin McLannister, and GMP. So this is the full Walk of Atonement, where Cersei confesses her indiscretion to Lord Deckling and takes a quaint stroll home. Hardly quaint. She definitely does more than stroll, though. Not much strutting, though. I will say that.
It started off on a strut. Like down the stairs, she
A
strutted.
bit. I don't know.
She was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm shoulders back, chest out.
It was proud walking. I wouldn't call it. I don't think she was waving her shoulders. she was not going down it.
These people.
There were some moments Vince McMahon style arm, like
I didn't
power-
see that. I'll say that. But the opening part of this, where we have her confessing to old Lord Duckling. What do you think? Does she, like
Confessing to the fibs.
Yeah, I mean she's confessing to the fibs. Did he believe all of these fib confessions?
Well, basically, wasn't he saying that she was kind of just confessing to one crime, but he had like all these other crimes or whatever? That's just kind of like, I've committed all these murders, but I'm gonna say I did one of them instead of saying he did like thousands of them. Does that make sense? No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you always go for the low, like if you're gonna lie, you go for the low hanging fruit of, go for the one that's a believable lie,
Yeah,
like to
and then
admit to,
Get off the
because
hook.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, hey, yes, fine, I slept with that guy, but I was lonely and blah, 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 but no, I didn't do any of those other things. I'm being honest about this one, so now you can believe me about the others.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you get like that kernel of truth that weighs itself over the other more heinous things that she's accused of, and she'd be like, okay, well, no, those are just things that have been kind of added on to the stories that people have told, and that's where that's coming from. Like, it's a good choice by her. It ends up, I think, working out for at least what we've seen. Like,
yeah,
he's at least playing the part of not thinking that, oh, Jaime Lannister is the one who sired the king and all that, which wouldn't be good for the High Sparrow if that was the case, because if Tommen's not the king, there might not be as much support behind what the Faith has done.
True, but seeing how he has handled it, do you really think he cares about actually being High Sparrow, quote unquote, or do you think he knows he would still have followers regardless of his position?
I mean, you're right. He's not worried about that himself. But I do think you could make the point that it wouldn't go well for him if somebody with an actual backbone was king. So, regardless of intention, he might not be actively thinking that, but from our perspective of the watcher, I think he's a lot better off with Tommen as king. Lenny, thoughts on this whole scene here?
We're going streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody. Come on. Snoop-a-loop. Come on, you can bring your green hat. That's all I have.
That's all I had.
So I'm going to go with my first note. Do you think the High Sparrow believed her when she said her children were Robert's and Stannis was lying? Thank you, Luke, for kind of...
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but we didn't actually answer that. Do you think he believed her on...
I do. I think he believed it. It's kind of just a gut feeling. There's no like thought behind it. I feel like he wants that to be the truth a bit.
Yeah.
This, hopefully, there's some good in her. is maybe what he's going for? I don't know. Lenny, do you think? Do you think that he actually believed her when she said that the children were Robert's and that Stannis was lying?
I have no idea. Probably not.
Okay. Split decision. Benj, you're the decider?
I don't think he does, but he's willing. I think he's genuinely willing to give her the benefit of the doubt to let her stand trial to see what the gods, leave it up to the gods. I think
leave it to the gods.
I could agree with that. I think that's pretty reasonable.
So we want to get to the walk.
Yeah, let's start
itself.
Walking. Shame, ding-a-ling.
Dingling.
So, like the whole time that Cersei's doing her walk, they're shouting out obscenities at her, whore, brotherfucker, and there was just one guy that stood. And they're throwing shit at her and spitting on her. And as it's going, if you got this screen cap, I'll be so surprised.
This was to the first part of my note. This was the hardest scene to screen cap because there are such great shots, but I could, like
with her
most you couldn't
naked
because
body
of
in there,
restrictions.
But they're shouting like these hate-filled things at her, right? And then there's just this one guy that like steps up to the side. He's like, "Fuck off!" And it's like,
"Fuck off!"
Like, well, what did she do to you? Like, fuck off. It just did not fit. To me, it was hilarious.
I gotta say something.
You got your Screen Actors Guild card for that.
What? What'd you say?
Because anytime you have a speaking line in a show, you have to have a Screen Actors Guild card. And so literally that one guy gets a credit for being on Game of Thrones for just fuck off.
Fuck off. It was just not the same level of, calling her a cunt and a brotherfucker and a whore and a slut. Like everything. Yeah. Everyone else was cool.
or like the whore herself who jumps out, flashes like, "You've seen more dicks than I have, and I get paid for it."
Right. Or the guy that jumped out with his ding-a-ling hanging out.
Yeah.
I like that part.
So going into my other half of my note on this, you kind of start to almost feel bad for her because you start to see the cracking in her demeanor and everything as she's walking. You see the bloody feet. She's covered in, excrement and
jelly,
all that. And, under all the hate, she's like, okay, maybe this might actually work. You're thinking of it. And then she's in the Mountain's arms. And you realize, nope, she's still going to be fucking evil. Now she just has more reason to kill everyone or to not give any shits, because the next shot is the one I'm talking about, Luke.
I know.
Should have that one. She just has that smug, like, okay, she's in pain, but she's like, okay, now how am I gonna fuck everyone over? Kind of look to her. So, like I said, halfway through the walk, you're like, damn, okay, this is a little tougher to watch than you even imagine. But then she gets to that point, you're like, okay, there she is.
Any thoughts towards through the walk or
the ending
at the end of it?
Yeah, I think like once she gets in and she's like kind of broken down, and you see like all these old guys like staring at her,
right?
Kind of weird.
One's her uncle.
Yeah, right. And then you finally see Qyburn give her the blankie, but not before she got all these weird looks from the Pycells of the world and the Kevin McLannisters. Yeah,
there was also a scene where she was crying, and it focused in on Pycelle for a minute, and he was like looking all, frustrated and pissed off and tough. Yeah. And then he like kind of opens up in his eyes, and then he gets back into it. It's like, what are they trying to show there? Is he like almost believing her, but then like decides, no, she's a bitch. And
she was naked.
No, I think it was them. I think it was him, like kind of like he was doing that furrowed brow, like, and then he sees her, like actually sees her full on. He's like, wait, back to,
and then puts the show
like
back on
goes the wide-eyed, like, oh shit, okay, damn,
that's
naked Cersei, I haven't seen that in a while,
No, but she was already covered up before what I'm talking about.
Maybe he was looking at.
Okay.
I
Kyber.
think it was a reaction to her emotion.
Why
is-
the hell?
Maybe.
Why the hell would you put a blankie on her?
Whoa, come on, bro.
Now,
Be a
do
team
we want to
player.
talk about Robert Mountain? Because this is the first real shot we see of him. You know,
Mhm.
I did list him as Robert Strong because book-wise, he's Sir Robert Strong.
Right.
And up to this point, he wasn't actually labeled as the Mountain, I believe. Because I don't know if they decided to just call him the Mountain come next season, which, spoilers, sorry,
Nope.
he is known as the Mountain next season.
Oh, right.
That's what I'm saying. But at this point, everybody, like book readers wise, oh, okay, Robert Strong, who, you know, we know who is
Yeah.
that.
I wonder if they they didn't name him, I guess, and then like people are like pretty much like they didn't read the book. Were like, oh, that's the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, let's just go with that. More people are.
It was just
I think
simpler.
it's dumbing down.
It was
for-
just, hey, this is clearly who this is. We're not gonna mess around with
Oh,
like
by
any
the
kind
way.
of subterfuge of, oh yeah, we're gonna call him something else,
And that
but
would
he's also dead.
that would have probably been another stupid scene of just a waste of time where they have a couple people and oh, by the way, this guy's name is Robert Strong now.
Oh, and here's Robert Strong. He's a big guy. And
Hey,
he-
Robert Strong. Yeah, we're talking to you.
You, Robert Strong. He's right behind Glenn.
yeah.
We're gonna call him Robert Strong now.
Okay, that's Robert Strong, I guess, because we don't have one in the show. But yeah, it was just easier. Like, hey, let's not confuse people. It's likely in the book you're gonna end up seeing people are gonna figure out it's the mountain and start really
Yeah.
talking about it as opposed to like whispers. And they're just like, it's just the mountain. We're just gonna have
Yeah.
it be the mountain.
Big Bobby Strong.
And as Bridge says, it doesn't translate on screen. Same as like Arson Whitebeard kind
Yeah,
of thing. Because
yeah, once-
you get the visual. Yeah.
There's no surprise to the reader.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So-
Anything else with that one? All right, let's chill with our final scene.
Cheers.
And it's okay, bud.
I didn't see that one
I'll
coming.
I'll keep him safe down here instead of breaking more of his feet off. Here, give me a hug.
Was it Red Eyes?
No.
It was
Blue.
mine.
Blue.
Eyes.
Oh.
Run along. Go back upstairs. I'll be up in a little bit. I
He's
love you.
He's eyeballing those other ones.
I love you, eyeball. All right, so we're gonna go to Castle Black, where we have Mel, Davos, John, Ollie, Thorn, and Night's Watchman. Later.
So Davos begs for help. Melisandre returns with some grave news, and fuck Ali. Hashtag for the watch.
Yeah. There was a little discussion on the description on this when it's like, I just want to put this. And Luke was like, yes. Agreed.
You said yes, Luke.
I said yes. I
He
said
gave-
yes
he
to
gave
the
the okay.
description.
So go ahead.
So I'll start with mine. The fucking look from Davos when he learns about Shireen, only he thinks she died in like the attack. Bum bum bum. It's like, yeah, that's not probably gonna end up well if he finds out the truth. But still, his heartbreak, you just see it all over his face, and it killed. That was probably that was the hardest part of this episode, was seeing that 3 seconds. It was like, oh shit.
That face right there.
Yeah. Well, no. The next one. You had it up.
No. Well, this is
This one?
him.
Yeah,
hearing
like
it.
right
This is
here, right
him
when-
looking
No.
at her.
Oh, okay. I
afterwards.
gotcha. Yeah, yes. That is, and he's just like, oh, fuck, because he didn't really care about Stannis. I shouldn't say didn't care, but it didn't affect him nearly as much as
Well, he
Shireen.
knew he was going into the battles, and
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Davos had felt Stannis slipping farther and farther into Melisandre's camp of at least mentality, and I don't know if Davos really gave up on him. It was more he knew that he was kind of a bridge too far, if you will, and Shireen was savable. Just because she was only in danger because of proximity to this other bullshit that was going on, and
Exactly. You know,
so
I think
it's pretty tough scene for him.
and then the next part, or John's going over
before
the
that we have
Oh, go ahead.
Stannis or Davos and John talking and basically like walking up, and Davos is like, you know, basically begging for help, and John's like, we have no fucking men, like you know that we have no men, and he's like, the wildlings, and John's like, I told Stannis the wildlings will not fight for you. I thought they both made pretty good points. You know, Davos, this is specifically why Davos was sent, and that's exactly what Stannis. So again, Stannis was right to send Davos. He's the right person to do this. But there's really nothing to be had. It was kind of a lost cause.
But it was also just to get Davos out of his hair. It was send him on an errand.
A bit. Yeah, definitely.
You know. So yeah, the next part of this is John's going over some notes in his office. I just have a quick note on it. No pink letter. I'm not saying he needed to get a letter from Winterfell or whatever, but just have like a sheet of pink paper on the table. You know, just continuity. Give it something.
Yeah, I agree that it could be there, but it potentially just would have muddied the waters of the story, and it's kind of too big of a plot point to have it's not an Easter egg. You wouldn't really be able to.
Fair. No, and that is fair. It's one because I'm thinking about it as I, you know, or as we talk about it, it's one because that's the plot driver, how John finds out about Stannis and finds out about all this, you know, book wise. It's not, oh, Davos is at the wall and Mel is at the wall, you know, for him to actually know all the information already. So, I mean, it makes sense to not have it. It's just one of those, like I said, a little Easter egg would have made us feel a little like, hey,
a little warm inside.
Yeah. Homey. Cozy.
Would have made us feel a little cozy.
So then we get to basically Ollie showing up, doing Ollie things with his friends, and basically says, oh, there's a wildling that they found at Hardhome that knows about your Uncle Benjen, and it's cool, and we want to go show you him because we need to get you out of this room. Glennie, thoughts on Ollie coming in? And,
so there's that whole thing where, you know, we know about Benjen, and, you know, Benjen's here, and we know about him, and then
he said he was first ranger, so you know it's legit.
So
like that's the confirming detail.
So then he comes out, you know, the traitor thing's hung up, and they stab him. But do you think he was still like, so you don't know about Benjen?
Wait. Where's Benjen?
I see what you're doing here. You're stabbing me because I did, you know, my thing or whatever at Hardhome and brought the wildlings back.
And that's cool.
But
that's okay.
Don't put Benjen into this. And
don't get my blood racing thing, and Benjen's gonna be back.
Why do you think it spilled out so quick?
That's true.
My heart's in the right place.
Yeah, on a knife. Benj.
So I get it from their standpoint. They're doing it for the watch. Legitimately, it makes sense. Like holding up honors and vows and all that, it makes sense why they did what they did. Why not just take his fucking head off as is tradition for a traitor of the Night's Watch?
Because these are not the people who uphold traditions.
As is tradition.
Well, I guess literally their point is, we're here for the tradition of keeping wildlings out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we kill wildlings. That's our tradition. We behead traitors. That's our tradition. So that's all. Just kind of seems a bit overkill to prove a point.
Well, they have to get their Julius Caesar narrative reference in here. And it's pretty close to what happens in the book. It's a little less planned in the book. It's harder to tell. At least this is like, hey, we need somebody to get him over here to like the kill spot. We gotta make sure he gets right in this little circle here.
Come here so you can read this thing.
Get in the kill zone.
Benjen was right over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's right over here. Like 6 more inches. Okay, now drop the hammer. Like no.
Wait for the sign.
Release the piano.
Wait for him to turn
exactly. All right, you could unscrew the chandelier now. But I mean,
it goes the other way.
They've been complaining about this wildling thing like all season, he's clearly not surprised that they're actually doing this. I think it is what Glenn said of, you pulling Benjen as the bait here. that's the surprise on John's face. That end, it hurts being stabbed.
No, like you're gonna die, but then you're not gonna find out about Benjen.
Right now, he'll never.
It's like
know.
I'm fine with you guys stabbing me. I'm cool with that. But just let me know about Benjen. Do you have the information or not?
Wait. So, do you know about him or not? That was not made very clear.
I want to die knowing about Benjen.
That's true. Benj, anything else here?
I mean, fuck Ollie. It's been building. He's been trying to compete. He's been trying to compete with John for the brooding and the dirty looks all season, and you can see John, all of them. He's like, okay, yeah, I expected this. I figured this probably would happen. But then Ollie pops up, and he's like, really, dude? And Ollie's like the number one. Like I would foresee, his whole family was literally eaten by wildlings. Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah, like and John's really trying to go out of his way to like kind of foster Ollie a bit. I mean, he brought him in as his steward, and he's like, trying to groom him a bit for, just kind of learning the way things are. And I don't know, it's just that final betrayal that, Thorne, no doubt he's been looking for this for a while.
Yeah,
but now Yarwick was an odd one to see in there. Awful Yarwick.
Okay, he's the head builder, correct? And he was the second stab
or not. Yeah, there's no picture of it.
Okay. Yeah,
it's hard to tell, but
that might be it.
But yeah, Awful Yarwick, head builder, was the second person to go in. I think it's also just because he's the other named Night's Watchman that we have right now.
Besides Ed.
Right.
And I'm glad there's no Ed. We were talking about that while you had walked away, and it's like, I'm just glad Ed, they didn't try to change that part up of it.
I think they could have had an offhand comment that he's like working in the kitchen, like he's away somehow, because that's kind of how the book is too.
Where's that at?
It's just kind of like, where is Ed? And because they've done such a good job of either killing off the people that would protect him, or like, oh, Sam's leaving, and so like just an offhand comment of like, oh, Ed's going to Eastwatch, or like just like for like a real quick thing, and he'll be back.
Ed's in the bathroom. He's taking a dump.
Yeah,
we got some time.
Ed's on the pot. He's got some stomach troubles today. But yeah, overall, I thought they did a pretty good job with capturing the, I don't know, kind of shittiness that John, like, because we, the viewer, the reader, knows, like, he's doing this for a completely, valiant reason, and it's true, it's honorable, and so to us, it's pretty easy to say, well, they're wrong. The Night's Watch men are wrong. They're missing the big picture, and I think they do a good job capturing that on screen here a bit, and the bleeding out, I thought was pretty well done as well.
Yeah,
I mean, he's so dead. He's played dead so well.
He's dead here, I think.
So pour one out for Jon Snow.
I'm not actually gonna pour.
I'm probably gonna pour that into my mouth. Yeah. Cheers, Johnny. Good effort. It was a real good run that you had there as the 998th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
For all of 3 weeks.
I was a little bit longer than that.
Okay, 4.
3.5 weeks.
All right.
What is that, in episode 5? So we'll give him 5 weeks.
Yeah, I don't remember. Oh boy. So episode title accuracy: Mother's Mercy. Seems like a pretty weak episode title to me.
Yeah, I think like Cersei said it like in the like, give me my mother's mercy or something like that. So.
Yeah, the mercy of the one drop of mercy from the mother.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's
whatever.
I guess maybe there's something with Dany and Drogon.
I was thinking that too.
Jaime and Marcella, even though he's the father.
Yeah. Ilaria gave her some mercy. She didn't stab her. Just poisoned her.
I don't know if that's.
I don't know.
Murder is murder.
I'm spitballing here.
Murder.
Murder is murder.
Well, no, because the Hound calls to give him the gift of mercy. You know, well, no, that's a book thing, but
murder is still murder. Description accuracy, season 5 finale. Yes,
Sure.
They are really good at getting that part of descriptions correct. Stannis marches. Sure, yeah. I mean, he does. Danny is surrounded by strangers. Potentially.
Well, all right, fine. We'll go potentially.
Potentially. Yeah, she doesn't know
She
who
could
they
know
are.
some of them.
By some peeps.
There's a chance she might know 1 out of every 10. Who knows? Cersei seeks forgiveness. Yes, I think she does seek forgiveness. I'm not saying that she actually buys into it herself, but she's looking for it. And Jon is challenged. Yeah, I think it's game, set, match a bit. But yeah. So least favorite thing, Lenny Dog.
This is probably like the battle montage. This is like another example where we got this big battle brewing, and then fast forward to the end of it, and
fizzle out.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it is what it is, but like it's just another battle that we don't really get to see a whole lot going on.
Mm-hmm. And the parts that we did see, I thought were pretty good. Like the zoomed out shot of the Boltons kind of surrounding. I thought it was pretty cool looking. And yeah, like Benji pointed out, you see like, I don't know, a quarter of the group at the back of Stannis's just retreating. It's kind of like, oh, shit.
We're out.
Yeah.
But yeah, skipping that, it's kind of like, that sucks. Benj?
By design, Davos finding out about Shireen. It was just brutal, and I mean, it was perfect for the show. It's just, yeah, my least favorite thing just to see him go through that much heartbreak again.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And knowing that he did his best to stay loyal,
and that
to
was one I had
because
I had to pick. Yeah, and that was one because I had to pick something for least favorite, but really, there's nothing bad about this episode. Bad pussy, maybe, but
yeah,
bad pussy.
Yeah, that's pretty awful. Awful pussy.
You want that bad pussy?
It's bad. Sand Snakes killing Marcella. It just again kind of by design. It just sucks. Like this poor girl did nothing. Like she's literally done what she was told.
She really didn't have a whole lot of dialogue either. Like
no. And I thought she did a good job.
Yeah, she was doing her job here, combining or connecting the realm. You know, like bringing it all together, and everybody's happy-go-lucky.
Just the Sand Snakes suck. Yeah. They ruin everything at times. And the bad pussy only goes so far, I guess. Yeah. Favorite thing, Glennie?
I just like the Jon's death scene. Like, not that I like.
Thank God he's dead.
Yeah, thank God he's dead. But just like the whole like WTF about it, and it's like the last thing you see for the season. I think that was like a good thing to end on, and just such a, I guess, a hook moving forward to the next season, because you're like, okay, what happened to Jon?
Mm-hmm.
Or what's the aftermath of this? And
right, yeah. I mean, what's the fallout of this gonna look like? Jesus,
yeah.
Like
by rules established, he died on screen. He dead.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that pretty fucking clear cut.
Stannis is alive. Jon dead.
There you go. Yeah. Bench.
Arya embracing her inner teen goth. I just loved her going ham on Trent and just psycho killer, just beautifully done.
Kill it. Yeah, definitely. I thought there were a lot of really good scenes in this episode. Stannis, some of his stuff, his death, I thought was good with Brienne. Jon's death was really good. Arya's was really good. I'm gonna go with Cersei. The whole walk of atonement, the acting, the facial acting, the body double acting.
Yeah.
It was just really, really well done. The guy saying "fuck off," which was awesome.
What a guy!
It's just, I like
fuck off.
It just really kind of gets you into. I mean, it's because it's, I don't know, a 2-minute scene where she's actually walking. Maybe a little bit more than that. I don't know, but it feels like it takes forever. Like it feels like a really, really long scene, and that's kind of the idea, because you're in her head a bit, and yeah, she's done terrible, awful, despicable things, but there's still a point where you're like, you still kind of feel for her a bit. And I know if Phantom Descent was here, he'd be going ham on on this scene as well. But I thought it was really, really well done.
Yeah. And no one's hotter than Septa Unella anytime she's on screen, just for the win.
I mean, Shireen was pretty hot a couple episodes ago, but
You mean last episode?
Because
yeah.
she was on fire.
She's played NBA Jam before. All right, so that pretty much wraps us up for this episode. Glennie, let's get into your house name. And as it's the finale, we'll do the full list.
Kit and caboodles.
The full house kit and caboodle.
All right, my house.
Show us your caboodle.
Name: Glenn of House Dog.
Your house words.
You miss 99% of the shots you don't take.
And your sigil.
Spuds McKenzie with the Wayne Gretz jersey on.
House sword.
House sword is Johnny Utah.
Region.
Davale.
Religion.
Dem New Gods.
Horse name.
Horse meat.
Animal.
Or Horus.
Horace the horse.
Horus the horse. Animal is Rich the flying squirrel.
Ancestral home.
The castle at Beast Mountain.
Hometown newspaper.
We subscribe to the Moondor Bee.
Famous house ancestor.
Duffy.
And your house minstrel or fool.
I think it was Berube.
Berube the barf.
The barf.
Head coach for the Blues.
Yeah.
Personal Twitter.
At Popsicle Stand.
Any final thoughts on the season 5 finale?
You know, it was kind of one of those run-of-the-mill season 5 finales.
Of all the season 5 finales out there, this was one.
Mm-hmm.
Benj,
One of 'em.
house name.
I am Sly of House McLean.
House words.
It's dangerous to drink alone.
Sigil.
3 golden triangles in a field of red and black.
Sword.
Konami, because they make blades of steel.
Region.
We're from the Reach.
Religion.
We pray to the gods of tits and wine.
Horse name.
We ride Peach all night long.
Animal.
Aries the Phoenix.
Ancestral home.
Tower of Hera. Watch out for Moldorn.
Hometown newspaper.
The Daily Sun.
Famous house ancestor.
My great uncle John, the savior of winter celebrations.
And your house minstrel. Or fool.
Nickeldum, the singing mime.
Singing time. Personal Twitter.
At Sly McLean.
And final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Honestly, going through this watch through this season, everybody shits on season 5. You know, everybody's like, "Oh, it's the worst," and the weird. It really actually wasn't bad. There's some bad parts, like some parts where you're like, "Shit, why the fuck they do that?" But it's actually really done well, and I like watching through, like, legitimately trying to pay attention. There's been a couple episodes this whole season where I couldn't even come up with the least favorite thing. And that never happens. You know, like the first 4 seasons, there was always at least one thing. There were a couple episodes where it's like, I can't come up with anything. And that's saying something. So they're hitting their stride. Yeah, the writing is a bit different than what we're used to in the source material, but from a show-wise only, it's actually really well done. And I think people need to give it more of a chance of watching it as a show instead of an adaptation at this point.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I might touch on that in my final thought as well.
So, Luke, what's your house name?
Lucan of House Blackmaid.
What are your words?
Ours is the drink.
What's your sigil?
An obsidian black chalice on a gold and blue checky background.
What's your sword?
Sweet Sting. It's a Valyrian steel axe.
And your region?
The Riverlands originally. We've hopped down to the Stormlands now recently, though.
All right. Who do you pray to?
The old gods.
Your horse's name?
Jerry.
Animal?
Harris the parrot.
Ancestral home?
Black cask keep.
Hometown newspaper?
The drowned word. Drink it and you'll keep getting drunk.
Who's your famous house ancestor?
Ashmere Rivers. You'll learn more about him later.
And your minstrel or fool?
Dingle.
Personal Twitter?
At Luca Ferocious.
And your final thought?
Our final thought is pretty similar to yours there, Benj. There's a lot of hate on season 5, and I think it's not unduly in general. The bad parts I think are really, really bad, and there is a big dichotomy of having to understand that the show is different from the books, and this is a big fork in the road for a lot of people that didn't go over well initially. On rewatches, I think the parts that they do get, done well are really, really done well. And you could tell the budgets are a little bit better still. It's continually getting better and more support. And there are just a few really, really bad parts to it that I could understand, because the first 4 seasons didn't have anything as bad as the Sand Snakes, didn't have anything as bad as Sansa getting raped, and I think that's a big part of where the hate for season 5 is not unwarranted. But
exactly,
there are a lot of really.
I understand the big episode Hard Home is like the worst of the series, but being joking there.
See, and that's the thing is like I do think that Hard Home is the best episode in the show. To me, it's my favorite.
It hits home pretty hard.
It hits you in the home. It hits pretty hard in your home, and that's just a good time for everyone. So become a patron to get access to our epilogue episodes and T-shirts, mugs, and glassware in our seasonal merchandise clubs. Learn more at patreon.com/stayimaginary. For all of the ways that you can help keep our beer bank full, check out thepodcastthat.com/support us. And we are really excited to get season 6 started off with you guys here starting in a week. And we've got Baby Ramsey on screen right now as well. So you get watching us live, you get all of these fun baby interactions, dog interactions. If Abby's here, cat interactions on the screen as well. And that's the kind of thing you get if you join us while we live stream record on youtube.com. But until then, you can follow us on Twitter at KnowAndDrink. You can send us a digital raven at knowandDrink@gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments on iTunes and on YouTube. And until next time...
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, do not turn your back on the wolf pack.
As always, winter is coming, and so am I.
And as always, stay imaginary.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
All right. So that was
all right.
That was a quick episode.
Yeah. So I don't think I'll be able to I don't know if you were planning on doing an epilogue.
No, we'll get out of here.
We'll end it.
Yeah, it's dinner time. So
din time, and I feel like I haven't eaten in months.
Yeah. Hey, I smoked a turkey yesterday. It was phenomenal.
What did you have for dinner?
Some mashed potatoes.
That was a Ben oh come on, the tank engine. Ben the
Benjin the tank engine.
Benjin the tank engine.
Yeah. Yeah. So all right. Awesome. Well, thank you all in the chats. We love you. Next week, do we not have a guest at this moment?
No, I think we're gonna.
Okay.
We might see if we can find one, but yeah, we probably won't.
Okay, fair enough. Yep. So anyway, we love you all. Thank you, and we will see you next weekend sometime. Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We'll be doing this again.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Twitter and on your notifications. Who knows? I might end up playing Game of Thrones Reigns over the weekend at some point, live streaming, and it'll probably be on. I'll probably do it on the Know and Drink stream instead of going to the Roles Plays games, just because it's Game of Thrones. So
it is Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it fits. So thanks for joining us all. You guys help recording be that much more exciting. And
yes,
you and the imaginary people,
and you and we appreciate that you're all actually imaginary people, and they're just bots, Glenn. They're all bots.
Yeah. It's one guy with like 12 accounts or with 28
it's
accounts.
All AI. We're at that level of. All right, we're hopping out. See you, chat.
Love you.